Hey, what's up? It's DJ. Today we're jumping into Farming Simulator 25. We're going to be looking at some of the stuff that's been added to the game with patch 1.11, as well as content update number 3. First things first, right away, if you're just jumping into the game and for some reason your build mode doesn't work, well, this is a known issue, and for some reason, build mode's just not working for some players. Also for me, it works sometimes, but not every time. I could have the same mods installed and exit and come back in, and then it won't work. And it's definitely not working on Alma, Missouri. No mods installed, all the mods installed, it doesn't matter. Build mode for me on PC was not working on Alma, Missouri, just flat out, and I don't know how to fix it. And I don't think anybody else does either, at least not when I'm recording this video. We also got containers. Containers are back, and we've got a very, very cool container system on using them and snapping them and everything. Got a new trailer. It's a pretty neat setup, although this could be extremely confusing. We'll make sure that it's not by the end of this video. However, to understand the container, I think we need to understand the trailer that it goes on. This is one of our new additions, the Fliegl Vario Chassis V2. Now, with this one, we could change up that green color that's on there, which is very cool, and we could change up our rim colors as well. Now, this trailer hooks up to a 5th wheel, so we're just going to be using the Volvo Electric today, and we got a couple things we could do with it. You may have noticed at the top in the helm window, we could change the size to 30 foot, then we could do that, and then we could change the size to a 20 foot or a 40 foot from there. And then after that changes up and moves, then we could start changing things around again. And that is all done in those buttons. And what we can actually see is the trailer kind of switching around and changing up to things. So we can raise different bits and bobs up. We can also change it to a double 20, which is really interesting. We could fold it up and it kind of brings everything together a little bit. That's kind of neat. We can also change it up to a 20, which drops those back bits down just a bit. We have a couple different container lengths, which you may want to know depending on which one you want to use. So these are available in a 40-foot version, 30, and 20. So those are going to be your 3 sizes. We can also use the Schwarzmuller that we had back in Farm Sim 22. That works with the containers as well. We get Lizard Logistics and Lizard Forestry for the side, and plenty of color options. You will need some type of loader to move these around. I'm a big fan of the Lizard CF210 from Pascal Couts. This is available for all platforms and helps move things around very nicely. And it weighs about twice as much as the big forklift in-game. Makes it super, super nice. Whenever you're ready to put these down, you don't even need to have them on there straight. Just kind of get it close-ish, and boop, it snaps, and you're ready to go. We'll get more into the containers a little bit later on, but for now, that's the basics of how to load it. Moving on, we have the Krone GX Agriliner 520. This is also a semi-trailer, just like the Fliegl that we just looked at. We do have a cover for this, however, it decreases the capacity from 55,000 down to 52,000, which I found kind of interesting. We do have a couple wheel options for the back as well, if you want to change those up. This is a bulk trailer. It is not just a regular forage trailer, which I kind of expected it to be, but it's not. Holds all the stuff. Thumbs up. We did get a small plow as well. This is the Kemken Juwel 6MV. With this one, you have a 2 meter working width. You can also go up to a 2.5 meter if you go from 4 shares up to 5. We also have the universal mold board set, or the slated mold board. About 140 horsepower is going to be required on this one. 8 mile/hour max speed. It is nice to have, although I don't know how many people are going to be using it. At least people that watch here. If you're going to be using it, hey, let me know. One of the most interesting pieces of equipment may be this guy, the Streumaster FW 212 DT Profi. Goodness gracious. It is a really, really big spreader. Now, we saw this in the previews of it a little earlier today, showing off lime. However, it'll also do fertilizer, so that is nice too. 15,600 liters of it, 42 meter spread at 12 miles an hour, and it's got a crane which picks up the stuff off the ground and puts it in it. So this thing is just about as cool as it gets. I'm going to be using lime just because it's easier. What we do is we take this, you unfold it, and it works just like any normal crane, with one exception. You've got one button that opens and folds the shovel on it. So one button opens that up. You don't press like left bumper, right bumper to open it up, which you normally would. So I'm not quite sure why they decided to do that. I'm not opposed to it. It works real good. I don't. I'm real bad at this, but it works fine. Also, if you saw activate, deactivate double application rate or normal application rate, just ignore that. That is something that I've got installed as a mod. For some reason, I can only run with a certain number of mods, and some of them work and some of them don't all the time. And this just happens to be one that is working all the time for me. So yeah, anyway, you can load this up. You don't have to do this. You can load it up with a silo or a fill trigger, fill spot, anything like that. It works. It works fine. It's pretty good. And then when you're ready to go, fold it up, put it where you need it, and we're off. Nice. Very, very cool. Let's see. Let's also check out the change working mode. Where's that at? So I'm starting to think maybe that you can't change the working width if you're running lime. But you can if you're running solid fertilizer. Very interesting. We also have another sprayer, the Berthoud Vantage 4300. This holds 4,300 liters. Yeah, a couple different tire options. Not a whole lot going on with it, but it's still pretty cool. This might be the one I'm the most excited about today, though. The Horsch Avatar 1225 SD. This is a seeder. It's a direct drill. It's a big direct drill, something that we didn't have as part of the base game. You had to go all the way up to Plains and Prairies to get a big direct drill. This was as big as we had, 8 and 9 meters. But now we've got this guy, 12 meters. It is a big chunky boy. You could choose how you want the seeds of fertilizer up here. So you could choose whether you want those to be a little bit higher or a little bit different. So those are going to be your seeds. Is that just seeds? Looks like just seeds. Wheel brands can be changed up as well. Wheel setups can be changed. My big head's in the way there. And then we can actually change up the seeding units themselves, which is very, very nice. I like being able to change all that. So that is super cool. This is direct drill, as mentioned. That's really sweet. Seeds, fertilizer. That's all you need. This is awesome. This has been added back, the Schwarzmuller timber trailer. I believe this was in Farming Simulator 22 in one of our DLCs. Well, it is here. So that is very, very nice to see. We'll kind of remove my big head just so you can kind of see what is up with this. We could change up the different sets here in the front. So you can see different movements for the Stackians. So there's that. You can change up between a regular or twin wheel setup, which I'm really digging. This is more of a road transport than anything. So that will show that off. We do have the different mud flaps too. So you can change those. Designs can be changed up. So that is cool. I think that's just going to be changing up a few of the Stackian setups in the middle. Not quite sure what that's changing, to be honest. I'm not seeing much. And then we also have a lot of color options, which is quite surprising, especially from something in the base game. And lastly, something that was not in the changelog, and I don't know why, but we have a new palette type. If I can find it. Here we go. Seed treating liquid. It is free. 280 liters, and it's free. It's not liftable, but it's free. You're going to need that with some of the belt systems that we've got, because we have, I think, 5 belt systems that have been added into the game, which is quite a few. So in here we can see we have the AGI Westfield UTX 44. This is just a standard auger, which is very nice to see. Not a whole lot going on with it. It is auger at the end of the day, so that'll just use all your stuff. We do have the seed treater right here, which is cool. So what you do is you put in the 50 liters of the seed treatment with this, and then from there you put grain into it and you get seeds out, which is really neat. Down at the bottom it says conveyor belts are used an alternate way to load your trailers, and this conveyor is able to produce seeds directly from your grain storage, which is really, really cool. We also have an AGI Westfield right here, the STX Squared 10-51. This one is used with the AGI West Steel Smooth Wall and the Hopper Bin. But if you want full compatibility, you go with this guy, which also will run with the flat bottom bin as well. And this one will run with that because you can actually get that under there and run everything, which is kind of neat. And then you've also got the last bit here. This is just auger at the end of the day. So some of these work specifically with things. Some of them work with a little bit different. We won't go too into it, but you know, if you want to check it out, you can. We've had augers for a long time, so I'm not going to show you how to use one. So let's get this guy right here, the seed treater. With this one, if you pull up even close to this, it's going to fill up. So you can see we've got our seed treatment liquid filling up down there at the very bottom right. No button for this. You could press the button, but for some reason it's not working. So who knows? Nonetheless, that works there. Let's see here. We can move a few things around. I don't think we're going to have to use a hopper for this, so I'm not going to try. But we can raise this up a bit. I think that setup right there is going to be good for us because I'm going to use tippers. Okay, well, technically grain carts. Now, I'll be honest, I used to know exactly which crops could work with this because if we go in and we take a look at this exactly, there is no indication whatsoever anywhere on it that tells you what it can do. All it says is the conveyor is able to produce seeds directly from your grain storage. So we've got wheat right here. I'm assuming just gonna dump right in. There we go. Yeah, looking good. It's dumping a lot in there. So that is that. And now we got to do one other thing because we're going to have to click unload here. And of course the action cannot be performed. What? Well, I was going to say, I guess we'll move this out of the way, but as soon as I started moving it a little bit, it started working. So wheat confirmed, works a-okay, but you will have to click the unload here button. But it is working. It's working great. And that looks like it is going to take it a hot minute to get through all of that. But it's making a decent amount of seeds. Like, there's 700, 764. All right. I think we can agree that there's more grain in there. And I don't know what... Okay, back up working again. So I'm just looking at this as well. It's showing that we've got 1,731 liters in there. So it's working some. It is taking its dandy time, though, when it comes to making seeds, but it's put a lot in there. It still doesn't look like anything's going anywhere. This may be one of the best ways to make seeds. I'm gonna have to do some extra testing. This is a feature. That's how it works. Do with that as you wish. I've also learned if you leave that little pallet right there, if it gets down to about 90-95% full, it'll just load back up again. So just put it beside it and you're good to go. But I will say this, it has taken that a long time to go through. A very, very, very long time. I don't know, a couple minutes, probably, I would say. And it has made 3,800 liters of seeds. This may be good for you guys if you want to do something a little bit different. Try something new. But boy, does that take a while. One thing I am a little bit curious about, though, is will it work with corn? Grain crops, I would expect it to work with. Corn might be a little bit different, though. Yeah, that works fine. Corn in, and it's making seeds. All right. Well, very cool. I assume it's going to work with all crops, at least all... any crop that could be done with a combine harvester. That's what it seems anyway, but you never know. Also, if it's turned off, it still works. Interesting. I'm not exactly sure what it is in here that is working, and it fills up automatically. So I can't drive it around, but that's the only thing that I can't do. Everything's working perfect. There we go. And now it's empty again. And it's quiet. All right, how's about we take a look at a couple of the placeables that we got as well. So the first one we're going to take a look at is the AGI Centennial Garage. Now, this is something that we've had previously as well, but it is very nice to see it. We've got a couple man doors around through here. We also have our garage doors. There they go. Pretty quick, I would say, especially for base game stuff. I dig it, though. Boom, boom, all is well, all is good. Come over here, turn on the shed light. It's going to be the left stick down if you're on console. Left stick down, and then we get a big hydraulic door, which is way too fast. Even for a base game piece of equipment, that is way too fast. But it still looks very cool. And then to round out, we have 4 things in silos. So we've got right here the Westfield Smooth Wall bin. Then we have the Weststill Hopper bin. If we swing around towards here, we have the Weststill Flat Bottom bin. And then something you may see before. This is the grain dryer. This is the flat bottom bin and Nico dryer? Not quite sure how that would be, but still very neat nonetheless. Now, I say dryer because this is actually a grain dryer mod. So Labuki has turned this placeable into a mod, but he released the mod before the placeable was released. So how did he do it? Well, it was in Farm Sim 22 and he brought it over. Ta-da! Did I ruin the magic? Hopefully not. Now, of these, they all basically work exactly the same way. What you want to do is you want to get a belt system up under there, and you will want to open up the cover. So for this one, it is going to be right there. You can see at the very top, we've got our cover open, and we hit it again, and the cover closes. If you want to put grain in, you got to open that cover. As far as this one goes, I think it's over here. We've got our handle. There it is. So we click the handle. Pulls the handle, opens up the hatch at the top. Again, you will need to get an auger down into there in order to get the grain out. And then for the flat bin, of course, this is where we get our grain out, but come around here, click that, and actually have like a winch kind of thing. It's kind of neat. And this one we can climb up and take a look at, which I find super cool. Speaking of climbing, will these ladders work? No. I think I had a dream that ladders worked in Farming Simulator because I haven't found any that worked since then, which has been really frustrating. Nonetheless, this is where you can get your grain out, or you can get it out up here, either one, and then this is where you put the grain in. This is a very, very normal silo system that we would have seen. However, if you wanted to use those augers and stuff like that, you can easily use them. You could also use them with the seed maker. Stick that under there, and then you can make seeds out of some of the stuff that you've gotten. As far as our capacities go, you're going to have 76,000 liters there, 125,000 there, 501,000 there, and for the big guy, 5.4 million liters. So, pretty big. So now I guess we got to talk about the basics of containers. We've talked about literally everything else, and this I think is what's going to take the longest to talk about. So it's not the how do you get the containers on and off the trailers? How do you set it up? I mean, you could turn your help window on and figure that out. The things that are going to be the most difficult is, where do I sell this? How do I sell this? How do I fill it up? Technically, it is log autoload. So if you take some logs with a crane and put them in there, you are good. However, for some reason, I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't know what it is, I can't open the door. See, folding not allowed while tool is attached. So what we have to do is we actually have to remove this container from that trailer or whatever trailer it's on before you can even load it up. Again, I highly recommend that you guys download this mod. It is by far the best mod for loading and unloading these containers. It is super easy. It's nice and heavy. It's smooth. Look at that. Perfect. I did that. So you know it's got to be good. So now that we have removed the container from its transport, we can open her up. And this is where it gets fun because we can load up logs here. Now I'm going to be using a little bit of trickery because I have heavy lift turned on. It's also important to say that if you're on PC and you have heavy lift, you can lift this as long as it's on the ground. But if it's on one of these trailers, you can't. It's basically magically stuck to it. So you can't get it off there. It becomes part of the trailer. A couple things I would change, but it is what it is. So let's pretend that I've got a log or a grab or something, and I bring it over here, and it puts it in there. Now you may also see above my head the loaded log is the wrong length for the container. This reduces the sell price. We're targeting a 12 meter log length. However, I don't have 12 meter logs. I have 8. So that's what I could put in here. These are 8 meter beech trees. So we want 12. So I don't know if Easy Dev could give us 12 or not. I'm not going to cut down trees to show you guys this. Boom. But as you can see, you load it in. It becomes literage. You can't get in there, but it becomes a liter of the log. So, for example, all the logs that I just put in here, 2,076 liters. So that's what it's become. So here we go. We have other logs. So this is a 12 meter Scotch pine. I gotta back this thing up and bring it forward. Boom. There we go. And it's loaded it up perfectly. We'll load it up with a couple more logs since we've got them all over here. Again, visibly, one log going in is not going to equal one log that's loaded in there, so don't worry about that. You can see, those are definitely not what I put in there. But I do think that's what this model is in there. If I'm not mistaken, that's the same model. So there we go. We'll take that, we'll close up the doors and be good to go. And now we can come over here and we can load this back on our trailer. This is kind of a cool spot too, because it doesn't have to be perfect. Not at all, as long as it's near it. And I'm also gonna show you how to load these without even getting them up there. There's that. And then it snaps into place, which is really interesting. But let me show you exactly what's going on in the background so that you can get like a, oh, I get it. So right now, the game thinks that the container is part of the trailer. And if I take this and I'm just gonna grab it and bounce it, beep. I bounce it, you notice it lands perfectly? It does that every single time. So you can do it again from here, yeet. See that? And boop. Just about perfect. Well, I say just about perfect. I think it's a little far forward, but it's still technically snapped onto the trailer. So you can do some pretty wild stuff. And if I've got a hold of the trailer, it doesn't, like, it's, something's up. But it's really neat. But if I turn on our F5, we kind of get an idea of like, oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So I'm going to line up my forks here with our little notches, and I'm going to get a purple connection here. And that is telling us, all right, so when the purple is on, it is whatever that purple thing is attached to, that's what gets it. Does that make sense? Hopefully it kind of makes sense. So we're detached, boom, purple thing goes away. Now this container doesn't belong to anybody, and I can pick it up and lift it, but I couldn't beforehand. But you can also see here, we've got this box on top. This is what makes the container stick to it. Well, there's no collisions in the middle here, but there is a box, so there's going to be some overlap. So here is your tip, and I do want to give a shouty-outy to Looney Farm Guy. I was in VC with him, and he found this by accident, and I was able to like show why it happened. But just line up the front part of the trailer right there, and it will technically clip through, so you could grab it without ever having to load it manually. Technically, it is an automatic load, and we've got the 8,200 liters of logs in there, which is neat. So there's a few other things as well. So we could go sell this wherever we could sell logs. Easy way to find that, go over to prices, go all the way down, click on wood, boom. That is how you do it. So we go to any of these places and sell this container. However, there's something interesting going on with placeables right now. So if we were to go into placeables and we put down like a generic selling point, for example, like this, for some reason, this isn't selling. I can't tell you why, but today, right now, that's not working. Also, I can tell you, unfortunately, that the sawmill isn't working either. So if we drag down to that, where is it? Here we go, this guy. So this sawmill isn't working with a container. For some odd reason, I don't know why, but it's just not working. So if you go with any of the sawmill mods, for whatever reason, no money, no dice, no money. But the carpentry is working. I can't explain it, but it is what it is. Oh, and just so you know, you can't cheat stuff in. It doesn't think that there's a fill volume, even though there is. I don't know how this has been done. I imagine it's been done in some way where it tries to make do with what's here or something. I have no idea. But I can tell you, it's not working the way I would expect. But it works just fine. Now, I wanted to bring this over here because if we took the container off, we could sell just fine. This is going to be our point here. It should sell automatically. If we come through, you can see here, nada. It doesn't sell. I could detach it and leave it. Nothing. So in order to get this to sell, we are going to have to take it off. Fortunately, our handler goes 32 miles an hour, so it won't be too bad to get that over there. So we take our forklift, we pick this thing up, and we bring it over here to get it ready for selling. So one of the other reasons why I think it won't sell is because it thinks it's still connected to something, because technically it is. So we bring this over here, we set it down. Now it's gone. As soon as it disconnects from that little purple, where that little purple line would be, it just boop, disappears. Now we have $30,000 in wood. Not too shabby. I was talking with Looney, and he did say that you do not get the cost back for your container. Those containers are not cheap, dude. They're like $5,000, I think. 3,800 bucks. I mean, for that one, yeah, plus options, 55. Okay, I was getting ready to say, at least none of the options and stuff like that are costing you money. No colors, nothing like that. So that's pretty cool. As far as I know, no, you cannot transport anything else in the containers. They are for logs only in the 20, 30, and 40-foot versions. Also, you'll see down here, shipping containers can be filled with logs and sold as a whole. So there's that. You can't sell the container by itself. There have to be logs in it. It is a cool setup, but there's just stuff you need to know before loading in. And if that wasn't clear enough, let me know, and I'll make a dedicated video just for containers. So I sure could put one together. Now, if you guys want, I could do a full video talking about the other changes and stuff like that. There's really not a bunch of stuff going on in here. Here's your update 1.2 of Plains and Prairies. If it matters to you, you can take a screenshot of it, something like that, or again, you can check out Mod Hub or the Farming Simulator website, linked down below. They just fixed up a few things, changed a few things, but they didn't add anything brand new, nothing like that. Next out was something very similar as well. Getting version 1.2 of this one as well. Fix some collisions, fix some transport states, disabled automatic alignment function, improve reattaching, and fix visual feeder housing stuff. So if you wanted to, you could definitely take a look at that again. Screenshots are fine of this as well, but there you go. I didn't feel like it was important enough to just sit there and go through, but wanted to let you know. And that's really all we need to talk about, at least right now with all of this. There's a bunch going on right now with Farming Simulator, especially with the fact that our build modes are not working on some maps, especially with Alma, Missouri. It's just never working there. So as soon as we find out the fixes for that, the changes, and anything else that you need to know, I will be the first to let you know. So please get subscribed. That way you don't miss it. Otherwise, I just hope you have an awesome day. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll catch you in the next one.